Hello everyone, welcome to Career Launcher. Welcome for the next session on MH CET. Right, we'll be looking at some quant questions. So I hope that you've been practicing and that you'll take this session as a practice session. You will practice along with me, right? That's the whole point. Right, so if you're watching the video later on, pause the video if you're right now with me. So just practice along. Means try to solve and get the answers, right? Chaliye, let's start. Without further ado, let's start. All right, so again it will be a mixed bag, right, across all the topics. Let's start. First question, here we go. Profit and loss. Okay, I'll just, for every question what I'll do, I'll just pause for a few seconds so that you start trying, right, and then we'll discuss. All right, let's see. So the cost price of an article is 64% of the mark price. Calculate the percent gain after allowing a discount of 12%. So it's a question of markup and discount. Now there's a slight bit of a twist, right? First of all, we don't see any numbers. Like mostly we don't are given some monetary values, right? So we always assume something. Now the only thing to take care is, normally people are habitual of starting with, okay, let's take cost price as 100 and let's proceed from there, right? So just observe one very small thing that does not always help, in the sense that you should, your benchmark should be किस चीज के रिस्पेक्ट में कंपैरिजन किया है. तो पहले जैसे मैंने स्टेटमेंट पढ़ा 64% ऑफ मार्क प्राइस, तो मार्क प्राइस के रिस्पेक्ट में परसेंटेज डिफाइंड है, तो आप उस मार्क प्राइस को 100 लेकर के आगे बढ़ेंगे तो दैट विल बी इजियर. That's the whole point, right? So just change your habit a bit. If you are habitual of, अच्छा हमेशा हम तो कॉस्ट प्राइस को 100 लेकर के स्टार्ट करते हैं, don't always, that doesn't always help. I mean, you can do that also, right? But then if you start with cost price as 100, तो mark price निकालने में वो fraction में चला जाएगा. That's the thing, right? You can check out that, right? So we know the flow of numbers is from cost price we reach to mark price, and from mark price we reach to selling price, right? First markup and then discount. So mark price we are taking as 100, right, this time, and then 64 rupees becomes the cost price because of that cost price is 64. So whatever is the markup percentage, I don't care. All I care is if this is 100, this is 64, and there is a discount of 12%. So now you see discounting is also becoming now for very simple, because for discount percentage also the mark price is the base value, so therefore this becomes 88, and therefore we are now required to do the comparison from 64 to 88 because we asked for the percent gain. So what is the gain? 64, 24 rupees, right? So what's the percentage profit? Percentage gain 24 is the profit on a base of 64, right? 8 cancels, 8 into 3, 8 into 8. This is 3/8. All of us know that is 37.5%, right? Chaliye. So therefore, just adding these few nuances, helps a lot, right? चलिए देखते हैं, right? आप practice करेंगे मेरे साथ. Next one, let's see. Here we go. All right. So a mouthful of a question here, but please try quickly. I'll give you a minute. I'm quietly making my table while you're trying. You see, I'm So through this question, I just want to share, the fact that wherever it, seems reasonable and logical, I want to put the, when the data is large, I want to put tabulate that, right? That I find convenient, right? Some people don't do that. So I'm not saying कि उसी तरह से ही करना चाहिए, but it's just, my style. So I'll just put it like this. Okay, so right, you have read the question. It's about some difference between amount earned in 2 days is given and the total amount earned is asked. So basically, amount here is the obviously, the number of spectators into the price, right? So the ratios are given for both the things, and obviously, therefore, from the respective ratios, you can find the ratio of the amount earned also, right? So a movie was screened for 3 days, right? The ratio between the number of spectators was 2 is to 3 is to 5. So if this was, let's say, 2x, 3x, 5x, and the price was in the ratio 2 is to 3 is to 4. So let's say this is 2y, 3y, 4y. So the amount will be number of spectators times the price. So this is 4xy, this is 9xy, and that would be 5 into 4, 20xy, right? So basically, all I'm concerned with or bothered about is the ratio, which is 4 is to 9 is to 20 is the ratio. So the difference between the amount earned on Tuesday and Wednesday. So therefore, this is, like this, if this is 4k, 9k, 20k, so 11k, the gap, right, is 8800. If, right, I just take a simple ratio constant. So therefore, my k is, this is 8800, right? So 11 cancels, 800, right? So that's all. Total bond earned, just add 4 and 9, 13, 13 and 20, 33k. So what's 33 times 8? That's all I need to do. 240 plus 24, 264, 264, 26,400, right? So, uh, moral of the story is how quickly you process the information depends on how, concisely you write the data, right? So that's what I'm saying. Quickly just do ratios, more the come, take the product and get the final ratio of the amount. चलिए, so इसी तरह की चीजें आएंगी, and that's you have to be alert that what does the question demand from us, right? That's uh, how quickly you recognize that, right? Also, don't get ever bogged down by the length of the question, right? You see, it just takes a few more seconds to read the question, but questions are, every question, the biggest hint to every question is the question itself. So therefore, if a question is lengthy, it means it is taking a bit of a time for you, for it to give the information to you, right? So don't worry about the length of the questions. They don't define the difficulty of the questions. This is an easy question, right? Chaliye, practice next one. Here we go. Again, I'll give you a few seconds to quickly get to the answer. All right. So even while you're trying, right? So as soon as you get the answer, please share. Now, so sum of present ages is 75 years for three people. 5 years ago, the ratio is given. So I'll start from where the ratio lies, right? Because there I would want to define the quantities. So if I want to define the ages 5 years ago, then they would be taken as, let's say, 3k, 4k, 5k for, let's also write the names, because all of them are starting with A first of all. That, is a pain because I need to be very clear about the names respectively, right? So therefore, this should add up to what, my dear friends? Bhai, everybody would have aged 5 years by now. So 5 years ago, each of them was 5 years younger. So minus 5 three times, minus 15. So from this 75, minus 15 on this number should be the sum of the ages 3 years ago, 5 years ago, right? So that would mean minus 15, which gives me 60. Right? So that therefore tells me this is 12k 60. So my k is 5. So therefore, the ages of Anish, Ajay, and Amit are respectively 15, 4 into 5, 20, and 5 into 5, 25, 5 years ago in the past. So in the present, we are asked for Ajay. Ajay, this guy who is right, who was 25 years ago, would obviously be plus 5, which is 25 by now. Where is that? Oh, here it is. Right. So the point is, जहां रेशो है वहां पर क्वांटिटीज को डिफाइन करके वहां से स्टार्ट करो, राइट। बाकी कैसे भी कर सकते हैं आप, प्रेजेंट की एजेस को भी वेरिएबल्स लेकर कर सकते हैं, बट आई फाइंड कि जहां रेशो है वहीं पर वर्क करके आसान रहता है, राइट। चलिए, सो these small things, help a long way in reducing your time taken to solve a question, right? And that's all that we are working towards, right? Chaliye, next one, mixtures. So this is a very typical question on mixtures that has been asked many times in all the exams that you see. Right. So a person has a chemical of 25 rupees per liter, means that's a cost basically. In what ratio should water be mixed with that chemical so that after selling at rupees 20 per liter he may get a profit of 25%? So basically, in all these questions, water is always assumed to be free by default, even if not mentioned, right? And now this is the selling price, the profit. So therefore, you can get the effective net cost price, of a mixture consisting of milk and water. Sorry, chemical. What? It's not milk. Chemical and water, right? Okay. So this mixture, its net cost. So we know selling price is cost price into 1 plus P by 100, where P is the profit, right? So CP is SP over 1 plus P by 100. So selling price is your 20 and profit percent is 25. So 1.25 would go here, or 5 by 4. So that would give me 16, right? 16 rupees is the net cost. So this 16 is the weighted average as a cost between 25 rupees and 0 rupees. So therefore now comes the simple allegation rule that the overall average cost of 16 has been obtained by mixing the chemical, which costs 25 rupees per liter, and water, which costs nothing, 0. So we are now applying the allegation rule on the cost, and therefore that will give me the ratio in which the two quantities have been mixed, right? So 25 and 0, weighted average is 16, 25 minus 16, 9, 16 minus 0, 16. So 16 ratio 9 is the ratio in which chemical is to water. Right. So the question is not very clear about in what order he has asked the ratio. So we'll just mark for C, because look at the language, in what ratio should water be mixed with chemical. I think, okay, yeah, I think he's clear. First he says water, then mixed chemical. So water is to chemical, 9 is to 16. Makes sense, right? So I hope you are clear with this, that in these questions, in this kind of question, you will first find the net cost and then use the allegation rule to find the weighted, the ratio in which the two elements have been mixed. Chaliye, right? Next one. All right, again, giving you a few seconds. Please start trying. All right, let's see. So 12 men can complete a project in 8 days. So it's a 12 into 8, 96 man day project, right? So you can quantify the work to be 96 units, where 1 unit is 1 man day, right? So it's a 96 units work, right? For the first 2 days, all 12 men reported. So work this is the total work, and now we'll keep track of how it is getting completed. Work done. So in 2 days everything was normal. So 12, all the 12 men reported. So 12 into 2, 24 man day work was done, right, so far. So what is the remaining work? Simple, 72, 96 minus 24, 72 is remaining. But on the third and fourth days, 2 men did not report for work. Wait a second, let me go back on this. Let me also first let me ensure that, okay, 2 more days, what happens? Yeah. On the third and fourth, the 2 men did not report. So 10 men reported, right? So now the work done in the next 2 days, right? So there are 10 men now working, and therefore 10 into 2, 20 units hours is also done. In the following days, all 10 men reported for work. Okay. In how many days the whole project was? Okay, so I get the point now. So on third and fourth days, these two people didn't work. So, and then all 10 reported. Okay, I therefore can come actually just say that from the third day onwards, 10 men are working. Simple, right? So actually I can just say, okay, remaining work is 72, right? And now 10 men were coming every day. So how many days will be required? That's what the question is, right? So yeah, so remaining work being 72, and now from third day onwards, right, 10 men are coming. So therefore now work is written to time, or time is work by rate. So work to be done is 72 units at the rate of 10 units being done per day, because 10 men are working. So 72 by 10, 7.2 days will be required further. So already 2 days initially, and then another 7.2, that is 2 plus 7.2, 9.2 total days. That's your answer, or 9 1 by 5. There is your answer, right? So yeah, pretty much usual question. Just define the work, see, and see that work through, right? Eventually, in most of the time in work questions, that's how it works. Eventually work gets done, right? ठीक है ना? So that's how it is. चलिए, next one. Let's see. Okay, now let's see this one. A train 400 meters long overtook a man walking along the line in the same direction as the train at the rate of 5 kilometers per hour and passed him in 40 seconds. The train reached the station in 20 minutes after passing the man. So there's a question first of crossing of objects. The train crosses the man, but it does not stop there. It's just not about crossing. It actually is a full question further, which then we have to figure out. The train is reaching a station in a certain time. In what time will the man now reach the station? So he will also continue going, and when will he reach? Now, one thing strikes me, or one thing is very peculiar here. The question does not specify. The question is asking in what time did the man reach the station, but the question is not specifying measured from what instant. Right? When do you start measuring the time? From what time onwards? I mean, is it when the train started crossing the man? From that time onwards, you're measuring the time of the man, or when the train has crossed, or when the train has reached the station after that? Nothing is specified. This is a PYQ. This is a previous year question, right? So we can't debate it, right? So therefore we can only learn from this question. Okay, so if nothing is specified, what would we do? So the question first focused on crossing. So crossing was the main event, right? So by default, if nothing is mentioned, you know after crossing has happened, from that time onwards we'll measure the time. Nothing is clarified on that. There are so many different time instance, there are so many different events, right? So that's one thing to learn from this question. It's a previous year question, right? So we can't debate with this question. अच्छा question है तो specify नहीं किया, question incomplete है, so those things we can always get into debates. So for future purpose, if you get similar question, always remember that. Okay. Now let's coming back to this question, and let's finish solving this. So I've clarified the objective and what we're going to do. Now let's discuss therefore. So obviously the thing that is clearly not well known is the speed of the train, right? We know the length of the train, we know the rate of the man, right? This is 5 kilometers per hour is the rate of the man, right? Of at the rate of 5 kilometers per hour. So that is the speed of the man, right? Right. And past a minute 40 seconds. So we should be able to find the speed of the train from here. Another thing is there, this answer is in hours, minutes, seconds, right? Length of the train is in meters, speed is in kilometers per hour, time given is in seconds. So it's a hodgepodge in terms of this is kilometers per hour, that is meters, this is seconds. So keep the units consistent. Since the eventual answer is in hours, we would want to do in kilometers and hours. But first, let's write the equation in terms of meters and seconds, and then convert it back to kilometers per hour, because this is meters and seconds. So finally, what I'm saying, crossing of objects, we know relative speed applies, which is difference of the speeds of the man and the train will apply, because man is moving along the direction of the train. He's moving in the same direction. So if x is the speed of the train, then x minus 5 in kilometers per hour, right? And then into 5 by 18 if I have to convert this into meters per second, right? If I have to convert this into meters per second, right? So this speed is distance by time, which is distance covered is 400 meters, relative distance covered in a 40 seconds framework. So this is 10 seconds, right? All right. So I'm getting the speed of the train in meters per second as 10 plus 5 into 5 over 18. Let me specify this is meter per second. Let's convert it back to kilometers per hour, right? X. So just multiply this whole thing with, again 18 by 5 to get the final speed eventually in kilometers per hour, because that is what we would want to work in. So I'm just writing this again, this whole thing into 18 by 5. So this is 18 into 2, this is 36. And this is back to 5, right? And so therefore I get 41. Okay, so that's the speed of the train, 41 kilometers per hour. Now, so once the train has crossed, it takes 20 minutes, right? So what is the distance therefore? So that will give, now this will give me, that in 20 minutes, whatever distance train has covered is the distance for the man to also cover, right? So distance, this distance is what? The distance between the train to the station after it has crossed the man, right? Is simply the speed of the train into the time it takes, which is 41 kilometers per hour. Let me, write the units everywhere, because it is so many different units. And then this I will want to convert in hours. 20 minutes will be 20 by 30, 20 by 60, or 1/3 of an hour. So this is divided by into 1/3 of an hour. So this is coming to be in a fraction, which is 41 by 3 kilometers. All right. Now, the catch lies in the question at this stage. It is now it is important to understand. Let's say this is the man, and let's say this is the train. Train has a length 400 meters, and then train is moving, and let's say down the line somewhere, let's say here is eventually the station S. Now this man, so for this train it has to cover this distance, right, which is this 41 by 3 kilometers. But this man, the crossing has just finished. The distance in front of him is not just the distance that a train has to cover, but also the length of the train. So if you just go with, okay, the distance to be covered with the man is 41 by 3 kilometers. So the answer is that distance divided by the speed of the man. You won't get the answer. There is no option that would match with, that figure that you will do 41 by 3 divided by 5. If you're thinking that would give me the answer, it won't, right? So therefore, it's a very good question. Right. So the final thing to do is that the actual total distance that the man has to cover is this 41 by 3 kilometers plus another this 400 meters, that's 0.4 kilometers, or 2/5 of a kilometer, for 0.4 2 by 5, right? So let's simplify this again, because I'm getting some fractions with 3 and 5. So I'll take the LCM, I'll simplify. 41 into 5, 205. 205 plus 6, I'll get 211 over here. Let's work with that, right? And therefore, finally, the time taken by the man to reach the station from this point onwards, after the crossing has finished, is this distance upon the time, upon the speed of 5 kilometers per hour. So this will be my answer in hours. This is kilometers. This is kilometers per hour, right? So 211 over 15 into 5 hours, right? So that would be a fraction, proper fraction, right? I mean, so let's work with this. This is 211 by 75 hours, right? So clearly all the options are 2 hours and something else. So let's simplify this. This is 2 and 75 to the 150. 150 and 211. 61 is remaining, right? So that would be 61 by 75 fraction of an hour, right? And then I need to convert that into minutes further. So let's now break this down. So this is 2 hours plus how many minutes? 61 by 75 into 60 minutes, right? Which I need to further work upon. 15 fours are 15 fives are. So just let me work over here with this. 61 into 4, that is 244 by 5 minutes. So 5 fours are 20, 44, 8, 4 over 5 minutes. All right, I think I'm answer option E, right? Because I'm getting 48 minutes and 4/5 of a minute, which is, yes, exactly 48 seconds. All right, finally I'm answer, right? So a little bit of a long drawn question. Eventually, this question, to read it, was shorter than an earlier question where we saw, that I think that weighted average wala question. But you see, this question eventually took us so much time. So therefore, that's what I'm trying to bring across. Don't judge a book by its cover, right? So these things, you learn from practice only. I hope, that, I mean, this is a doable question, right? But this is definitely not a question that you should take up in your first round of questions, right? It takes a bit of a time, right? Even if you if you start with it, then you will invest for sure 4-5 minutes on an average, right? I explained it thoroughly, so I think I took more than that. But it's a 3-4 minute question, even if you do quickly, right? डुएबल है और कॉन्सेप्चुअल बहुत अच्छा है, राइट? बहुत सारे कॉन्सेप्ट्स लगे, क्रॉसिंग भी हुई, फिर उसके बाद वो ट्रेन वहां तक पहुंची, एंड देन ये कॉन्सेप्ट बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है कि द मैन नीड्स टू ट्रैवल डिस्टेंस आफ्टर क्रॉसिंग व्हिच इज सम ऑफ द लेंथ ऑफ द ट्रेन एंड द डिस्टेंस ट्रैवल्ड बाय द ट्रेन फर्दर ऑन, राइट? तो ऐसा क्वेश्चन अगर अगली बार आएगा तो यू आर अवेयर अबाउट इट, ठीक है? चलिए, ऑलराइट, चलिए अगला देखें। अगला देखते हैं। लगता है ये तो कर लेंगे, है ना? चलिए करिए। इट्स 2, प्लीज गिव मी द आंसर। ये तो सबसे हो जाना चाहिए। यस, वेरी इजी। Yes, chaliye. So yeah, so obviously you will take this, these are consecutive parts of 3, you will obviously take 3 par 45 common. First of all, ये number, first of all 3 से तो obviously multiple है ही, but none of the options mentions 3. So it means जो बाकी बचा हुआ फैक्टर बचेगा, उसमें से क्या फैक्टर निकल के आता है वो देखना है, obviously, right? So once you take that common, these are consecutive powers, right? So in the bracket you will get consecutive powers starting from 3 power 0 and onwards, right? So 1 plus 3 square, right, plus 3 cube 27, and then 3 power 4 finally 80. One just need to add this and find कि इसमें क्या factor कुछ मिल जाना चाहिए from the options, right? So 1 plus 3 is 4, 4 plus 9 is 13, 13 plus 27 is 40, 40 plus 81 is 121, 121 is 11 square. So obviously there is your 11, right? Very simple question, right? I think 30 seconds question. That's all. कुछ नहीं है, simple. जो कॉमन लेकर के फैक्टर बन रहा है वो देखना था, है ना? चलिए, तो पिछले क्वेश्चन जैसे क्वेश्चंस भी आएंगे उनको हम सेकेंड राउंड के लिए रखेंगे. ये क्वेश्चन तो टूट पड़ेंगे, है ना? चलिए, हियर वी गो, नेक्स्ट वन. चलिए, मैं इमीडिएटली स्टार्ट कर रहा हूँ, आप भी मेरे साथ स्टार्ट करिए और आंसर बताइए, ठीक है? A and B rent a pasture for 10 months by contributing equal rent. A puts in 80 cows for 7 months and leaves. अच्छा जी, क्यों भाई छोड़ के चले गए? How many cows can be put in for the remaining 3 months if he pays half as much rent again as A? क्वेश्चन को समझना ही इंपॉर्टेंट है यहाँ पर. एज सच मैथमेटिकली तो क्वेश्चन में कुछ चैलेंजिंग है नहीं, बट ये जो रेंट हो रहा है, पहले उसने बोला इक्वल रेंट, फिर उसने बोला ही पेज, ही यहाँ पर बी को रेफर कर रहा है, राइट? हाउ मेनी काउस कैन बी पुट इन फॉर द रिमेनिंग 3 मंथ्स इफ ही पेज हाफ एज मच रेंट अगेन एज ए. मतलब इवेंचुअली पहले तो ये हुआ कि ए और बी ने दोनों ने सोचा चलो इक्वल इक्वल करते हैं, लेट्स से दोनों ने 100 रुपए डाल दिए, whatever something, right? He pays half as much rent again as a, मतलब उसने फिर एक 50 रुपए और डाल दिए, राइट? मतलब इवेंचुअली बात क्या है कि the ratio in which they are investing is basically 3:2. पहले उसने equal but he put in half more, so eventually the ratio in which they need to pay is the ratio of 3:2. अब ये जो रेशो है, this has, I mean, the question never, I mean, it is not explicitly stated, but obviously ये यहाँ पर कहने का मतलब ये है कि यहाँ पर जो रेंट है, it is like, you know, I mean, cow months के proportion में है. I hope that makes sense. I mean, it's about renting a pasture. So puts in 80 cows for 7 months and leaves. So कितने cows हैं और कितने महीनों के लिए हैं? So cow months उसके proportion में rent है ना? So therefore the ratio of rent A is to B would be the ratio of cow months. So for A, this ratio is 2:3. If I write, sorry, just one second, I think I have just written it other way around. This is B, this is A, right? Because B is the guy who is putting in half more, right? So A to B, the rent ratio is 2:3, right? And A is putting in 80 into 7 cow months, and B, so हमें B के लिए cows चाहिए, months पता है. So let's say N is the number of cows and months are 3, and this ratio needs to be 2/3. राइट? तो इस क्वेश्चन को का ये मीनिंग है, ये समझना इंपॉर्टेंट है, राइट? जैसे आपने पार्टनरशिप के क्वेश्चंस देखे हुए, राइट? उसमें प्रॉफिट इज प्रोपोर्शनल टू अमाउंट इनटू टाइम, उसी तरह से कुछ है ये, है ना? समथिंग लाइक दैट, right? So therefore you are getting the answer to be 2 cancels 40 into 7, 280, right? Right, you're getting n is 280, right? N is 280, ठीक है ना? चलिए, again this is a previous question, right? So I mean, क्वेश्चन इस तरह से आता है और इस तरह की लैंग्वेज होती है, यू नो, यू हैव टू मेक सम इंटरप्रिटेशंस व्हिच आर नॉट डायरेक्टली स्टेटेड, राइट? तो वो चीज यहाँ पर मैं हाईलाइट करना चाह रहा हूँ, ठीक है? चलिए, all right, this is simple one, people, everyone, please take it away, please get the answer on this quickly, everyone. You have a minute. तब तक मैं अपना स्टार्ट कर लेता हूँ. Right. So people, it's a simple one. Adi has a square land. Ahu has a circular land. Ahu's so what is given? Both the pieces of land have the same perimeters, right? तो मैंने दो parameters ले लिए. Side of square को मैंने a ले लिया, circle के radius को मैंने r ले लिया. What is given? Pieces have same perimeters, right? So therefore 4a, right, perimeter of square equals your 2 pi r. So that gives us the relation between a and r, and the ratio of areas is asked based on that of Adi's to Ahu's piece of land, which is a square over pi r. Square is asked. Very simple, very direct question. From here you have your ratio of a's to r is coming to be 2 pi by 4 or pi by 2. Put it there, you have your answer, right? Very simple. So this is 1 by pi and then into a by r whole square. So that is pi by 2 whole square. That would give me pi square by 4. So this pi would once go off and I'll have pi by 4 as the ratio. There is my answer, option C. Right. So again, खटाक से करने वाला सवाल है. 30-45 seconds max. ये इक्वलिटी, ये रेशो, ये वहां डाला, आंसर आ गया. ठीक है. तो आपके पास ऐसे डायरेक्ट क्वेश्चंस आते हैं, राइट? डायरेक्ट बोलेंगे और क्या है, कुछ भी तो नहीं है. पैरीमीटर इक्वल रेशो ऑफ एरिया, है ना? तो आप देखिए हमने 8-10 सवाल किए हैं और मतलब कितनी वैरायटी है. तो इन क्वेश्चंस में से आपको सिलेक्शन जो करनी है, राइट, कि वो क्वेश्चंस जो आपका टाइम थोड़ा किल कर रहे हैं, राइट, उनमें फंसना नहीं है, राइट. समटाइम्स यू कैन हैव अ जजमेंटल बैड डिसीजन आल्सो, राइट. फॉर एग्जांपल मान लो वो जो ट्रेन वाला क्वेश्चन था, आपने सोचा सर ट्रेन वाला क्वेश्चन मुझे तो आता है, लेट मी स्टार्ट, और मान लो कि 2 मिनट हो गया, आपको लग रहा है कि यार ये तो बहुत टाइम ले रहा है, अभी तक मैं कहीं पहुंचा नहीं हूँ. डोंट किल अनदर 3 minutes thinking कि I have invested 2 minutes, I need to now stay invested. Always be ओपन टू मूव ऑन, कि अभी और टाइम नहीं वेस्ट कर रहे हैं, टाइम जितना वेस्ट हो चुका है, लेट्स नॉट बर्न द ब्रिजेस, लेट्स मूव ऑन, राइट. यही एग्जाम टेम्परामेंट कहलाता है. चलिए, तो राइट, लेट्स सी नेक्स्ट वन. Here we go. Now, okay, probability question we have. चलिए, I'll give you a few seconds. Please try. All right. चलिए. So, right, so there are 3 colors, 4 red, 6 blue, and 8 pink balls are there. Now, the question is a little bit, you know, दो चीजें हुई हैं. 1 ball is drawn at random and replaced with 3 pink balls. ठीक है. So, ये हट गई, राइट. उसके अलावा 3 pink balls भी आ गई. कौन सी हटी पता नहीं है. A second ball was drawn without replacement. इस बार निकाली, राइट. What is the probability that the first ball drawn was either red or blue in color and the second ball drawn was pink in color? So दोनों बार जो हुआ उस इवेंट को डिफाइन किया गया है, तो दोनों इवेंट्स की प्रोबेबिलिटी को रिस्पेक्टिवली डिफाइन करके मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे. क्यों? क्योंकि वन आफ्टर द अदर सक्सेशन में हो रहे हैं, तो प्रोडक्ट रूल विल अप्लाई of probability that whenever independent events are happening, you multiply. What is the probability the first ball drawn was either red or blue? So initially there were 6, 4, 10 and 8, 18 balls, out of which 10 are red or blue. Taken together, there are 10 balls which are either red or blue. So 10 out of 18 are favorable. So therefore 10 by 18 is the probability of this event. Now once this event has occurred, it is known that the ball drawn was red or blue, because if we are going by that, हमने उस इवेंट को कंसीडर किया है, तो हम उसके ही रिस्पेक्ट में आगे मूव ऑन करेंगे. सो नाउ वी नो दैट रिप्लेसमेंट हुई है. सो ये एक बॉल चली गई है, अब हमारे पास 17 बॉल्स रिमेनिंग है. 3 पिंक बॉल्स कम इन नाउ, राइट. सो नाउ 20 बॉल्स आर देयर, राइट. पहले 18 थी, एक निकाल दी, 17 बची, 3 पिंक बॉल्स आ गई, टोटल 20 है. अब पिंक बॉल्स कितनी, क्योंकि अब हमें पिंक बॉल के होने की प्रोबेबिलिटी चाहिए. सेकंड बॉल ड्रॉन शुड बी पिंक. नाउ वी हैव 8 plus 3 11 pink balls out of a total of 20. So these two are the respective probabilities which we will simply multiply, right? 10 by 18 on to 11 by 20 gives me this 10 goes off, and 2 into 18 36, 11 by 36. But I don't see 11 by 36 in the first 4 options, so I must mark none of these, right? Chaliye. So therefore I hope, right, another I mean some learnings you have taken, I hope, right? And yeah, so keep up with the practice. uh Wishing you all the best, right? Thank you everyone. Thank you.